So today we'd like to welcome the President's mum and dad here today, and we'd like to welcome Jim and Robin as well. So thank you very much. Welcome along. All right, we've got a lot to get through today because the boys are about to get out on the track and get ready for the game today. Exciting game for Hillside. Good to see that we're going for leaps and bounds here at the club and really becoming a professional base operation of where we want to head in the future. And that's what we're doing today. I'd like to welcome up now and let you know all about that information, and we'd like to welcome up to the stage, and please put your hands together for our President. Please welcome Scotty.
Alright, first of all, I'll just thank a few people for today. Andy Bassis and Don Luke, who pretty much all set the whole day up over the last couple of weeks. Great job. I know there's been a lot of other people chipping in, the committee's working all around the ground at the moment, so it takes a lot of people to not just run a football club, but put a day like this together. Obviously, I'd like to thank Sport Support, Ben Charles over here, does all our merchandise, well, he actually does everything, does all our ordering, our alcohol, the whole lot. Without Ben and Sport Support today actually would have taken place, and I don't know if we can get our hands on Chris or not. He's over in Tasmania, so it's a long way to come back to Hillside. Look, we did this last year. I think the club's moving in the right direction to do it again. It's not just about raising money, but you get to watch these AFL footballers. Ryan and Stevie played AFL. Was it AFL or VFL? Back then. And a lot of the kids, they get to watch them on TV, and to be able to get within 5 or 10 or a couple of metres of them is a big honour for our club to be able to supply that to them. As far as where our club's heading, I spoke last year about us taking that step back to move forward. I feel we've done that. We've gone out and recruited some pretty big name players in O'Halfin, Zachy, and obviously Ryan. And Fab, who's leading the goal kicking in the competition at the moment. And our goal isn't about winning this year. Our goal is about winning the year after and becoming a Premier League football club. The dream for us and the goal for us to play Keilor round 1 in probably 2015. That'd be the ultimate for the Hillside Football Club in my eyes. We're heading the right way. We're kicking the right goals. It takes all your support for us to continue down that path. Coming to functions, coming to game days, coming to watch the boys play, coming to watch all the young boys play. We've got a 15-year-old making a debut today in Jacksonville Pardo, which first one in the country also, obviously the first 3 rounds we had Lukey Politano playing our seniors, and he makes his debut for the Jets tomorrow as well. So. Look, the club in a whole can't really do much more than they are, and that's Steve's doing a great job blooding our young kids for our senior list. We're winning games. Hopefully today we have another massive win out here against Keilor Park. They're up and about, so it's not going to be an easy game. Hopefully Chris can kick 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyway, 1 will be better than Cooter anyway, so you've got to start somewhere. Look, I welcome everyone. I know we've got guys from all over the place. We've got great Collingwood merchandise here, or memorabilia. I know that'll sell like hotcakes. There's an old coal one here that we'll probably have to throw out after the game. No one buys that stuff anymore. What's that, 18 years now? But honestly, look, I welcome everybody. Peter Dacos is coming. That's for all the older Collingwood supporters in the room. And all the young ones, obviously, remember Chris. And look, what a day. Thank Ben again, Sport Support. Absolutely fantastic. He's given me $50 every time I mention his name. So. Yeah, look, enjoy the day. I think we're going to be eating in about 10 minutes, so an hour. That's an hour. And then hopefully Dakes will be here and we can, move the day along. Did I forget anything? Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Scotty. Okay. Well, what we're going to do, because we don't want to hold up our coaches today, our coach, and I'm going to ask Stevie to come up. Will you please put your hands together for our senior coach? What we're going to do is just ask you a couple of questions about your entry into our footy club in Hillside, and what is your focus for our footy club and being involved in that footy club as a senior coach?
Oh, my focus basically is for us to obviously win a flag as soon as possible, and just backing up Scotty's sentiments. Look, our goal is obviously this year. We've recruited to win a flag this year, and anything short of winning a flag for us would be, I guess, an unsuccessful season. So it's to flood some kids, to have a look at some under 16 kids, under 18 kids, to make sure that they're coming through. And look, it's important to make that transition sooner rather than later, because as parents, you want the best for your kids, and sometimes parents think that it's not necessarily best to be in a Division 3 club. They think they might miss out on opportunities. But I say to those parents, look, if your kid's good enough, no matter where they're playing, they'll make it. So, like I said, whether it's Division 3, Division 2 or Division 1, if your kid's good enough, and they've got good people around them, it doesn't matter where you play, you'll make it. So, yeah, thanks.
Just in your, with your, I suppose it'd be nice to know a little bit of background about yourself with your football and where you started. Whereabouts did you start playing footy?
I started at St Albans. I played there up until under 15. Then I went and played at Footscray under 19s. So maybe my 86 started playing under 19s. 87 I played my first senior game with the Bulldogs. So I was there for I think 14 years in total. So obviously a few preliminary finals was the closest we got to winning a flag. I then finished up in 2000 at Footscray. Then I had a year at St Albans, which was my junior club. Basically, just went back there to, just to sort of say thanks and play with some guys that I sort of started my junior days with, and I was lucky enough to play in the flag in 2001. So that was it. Just played 1 year of footy after AFL, and sort of 3-4 years off, and then coach. Helped Steve McPherson out at Greenvale in 2004. It was an ex-teammate of mine. We won a flag there in 2004. Then 2005 and 6 I coached Duda Stars. We made a made a grand final in the second year. Got beat by Strathmore. Then I went back to St Albans, coached there for 3 years. And then sort of did two and a bit years at East Keilor, and sort of finished up after sort of round 7 when the club felt was sort of underachieving, and look, I agree that I didn't think I could take the group any further, and like I said, we agreed to part ways after round 7. So I was comfortable with the decision I made, because look, I couldn't get any more out of that group, and it sort of got to the stage where a lot of players were whinging about getting fined and things, and look, if they're not professional and 100% committed. Look, and I knew the club was struggling with money as well, and I wasn't going to be able to be paid, so it was easy for me to make the decision after round 7 to part ways, and as it turned out, they couldn't pay their players for the last 8-9 games as well, so I didn't want that hanging over my head, players whinging and coming to me saying, well, you got into the club and you guys haven't fulfilled your financial obligations, so that's sort of what happened there, and I wasn't going to do anything this year, and I was going to come and help Tony with the under 18s, just take a few training sessions and that, and then sort of Scott sort of asked me whether I'd be interested in coaching the seniors, so that's sort of how I just said, look, mate, if you can find someone better to do the job, do that, and in the end, we sort of agreed to do the merge here at Hillside. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great club to be part of, Stephen, and I think there's a lot of people here that would like to get to know you, and a lot of us like to get involved in the footy club, and that's why we're here. So we hope we can, a lot of you folks that are here today, make sure you introduce yourself to our coach when he's after the game. He's got his duties to do and all that sort of stuff, but I think it does make it a lot easier when you do know people around the club, and being a new bloke on the block, because this is your first year with Hillside. So we welcome you to our club, and we wish you all the best of luck for 2010.
I'll just tell you, just for 2 minutes, I'll tell you a couple of quick stories just about me been playing days at the Bulldogs, just with a particular player in Lindsay Gilby. Just three or four quick stories with him. One day we went to the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre, and we're having a training session. The session finished. We're going to our cars. Lindsay Gilby comes up to me and says, "Steve, can you give me a lift back to the footy club?" And this is back at Footscray. I said, "Mate, no problems." We go all the way back to Footscray. Lindsay jumps out of the car, and then he says to me, he goes, "Oh shit, I left my car at the Sports and Aquatic Centre." The kid actually drove to the aquatic centre himself, and then he gets a lift back to me. He said, "Can you drive?" I said, "Mate, look, I'm going back to training." So that was just the one quick story. Another story, Lindsay Gilby bought an apartment down at, I think it was the Docklands, and he moved in over a weekend, and on the Monday, he's just sitting in his lounge room watching television. All of a sudden, the front door unlocks, someone comes in, Lindsay says to the guy, "Mate, what are you doing here?" And the guy says to Lindsay, "What are you doing here?" Lindsay had actually moved into the wrong apartment. That was a true story. Even last year, I went back and watched the Bulldogs train, and Lindsay had a sore knee, and we sort of come over to him, we sort of reminisced a little bit, and I was sort of checking the NBA scores on my phone, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I've had a bet on the Boston and Chicago game." And he said, "Oh, well, what's the scores?" And I said, "Oh, it's 77 all." And he goes, "Who's 77? Mate, I could go on seriously for an hour and tell you Lindsay Gilby story. That's enough for me, so thanks very much.
Thanks, mate. Okay, we are having our lunch, which is not far off, but before we do that, I'd like to welcome up on stage, I'd like to welcome Ryan Hargraves. Welcome up on the stage. Well, we actually, a couple of weeks ago, we actually welcomed you to our club on our first game, but for all the people that don't know, a little bit of history about yourself and who you are, because sometimes some people here, well, not many Bulldog supporters out this way, mate, but a lot of Kangaroos. Let them know.
Yes. Played 200 games at the Bulldogs. Just retired last year, but wanted to come and play at a local club just for a bit of fun and enjoy myself. And from Perth originally, but ended up staying here just because I married a Melbourne girl and she didn't want to go back to Perth, so I'm stuck here. Enjoying my time here, and yeah, been a good year so far, and it's all going well. So.
Now, Ryan, you've been playing for a couple of weeks now with the club. Well, like coming from your background, how do you feel out there? Like, what do you see?
It's obviously a lot different game, and it changes just going from AFL to BFL level. So it's obviously a big change, but you quickly adapt, and I've got a fair bit slower, so it's down to my pace now. So
now, like Stevie, I suppose you'd have some tales to tell about somebody, maybe from the club, maybe from your past, that's happened. It's a little bit funny that you could probably share with us today.
Quite a bit, but I was just telling the boys there at another one, Lindsay Gills, I was going to stay on the same track with Gills. He was up in front of the boys one day and we were doing a little quiz thing, and then at the end of this, he said, there was a question about the store gift, and he said, "Oh, where's the store gift from?" He's got a few things, so I'll leave it on.
All right, mate. Well, give him a hand. He's a bright boy. Have a laugh. Now, also, I'd like to welcome Zachy up here. I hope I'm getting that right, mate. Now, you're going to help me here. You can tell you're not Maltese, that's for sure. Pretty tall, mate. For sure, that's for sure. Zachy, introduce yourself, mate, because, like I said, you're a new bloke to the club, as the whole three that I've, or the last two that I've introduced. And we all like to know a little bit about you, and I think the more we get to hear about you, it'll make us more comfortable come up and meet you, mate, and welcome you to the club.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Zachy O'Hanlon. I was recruited from Ireland when I was 19. I played Gaelic football back home, and Carlton came off to Ireland and it would be my brother. So my brother still plays in the AFL. I was there for 4 years, and I didn't play a single game, but had a groin injury. I'd say ended my career. I'd say in my 4th year. So I missed half the year, and new coach came in, and they wanted the younger lads, but I had a good time playing, met some good mates and stuff, and decided to go home for 2 years, and in 2010 I came back, and I played local footy for the first time. So I didn't want to pursue AFL or EFL, so I decided to play local football, and I played at Balmoral Park 2 years ago, and last year I played at Montmorency, and finally this year I think I found a home in Hillside, so a lot of my friends play here. And now I've been here, I'd say, around 5 months. It's been a good experience so far, I feel pretty comfortable, and I think a lot of the boys, we all get along together, so we all have the same interest in that. And it helps too, like having a European coach as well, so he gets the lingo down. We've got a good connection going on here anyway, and hopefully we're going to flag this year and carry it on next year and that. That's good.
Thanks, mate. So, well, how do you like, have you tried Carlton Draft? Do you like Carlton Draft?
After football, I suppose I had to get a job, so I started working in construction, and I wasn't used to working in the heat, so every day at 3:30, like, so the lads would they'd open up the slab of Carlton Draft and they give me one, so ever since then I haven't looked back, and I don't know, probably a good thing in a way, I suppose, just embrace the culture and get amongst it.
Mate, with your, just with the footy back at home, for some of us, I'm aware of it, but what's it like around in your club? Is it the same in the sort of like, in the suburbs and the way they sort of get together like we do? Is it the same similar culture, or is it bigger, or explain a bit about that?
The local scene is pretty much the same, yeah. I don't think they take it as serious as they do here. Very passionate here, like I think it's more of like big families in different areas of the city here. But it's good as well. It's like if I was to play back home, I wouldn't move around the clubs. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be ideal. But I just, like I said, just been looking for a place that I feel comfortable in, and especially all my friends here. I think I found I like it here, I suppose, you know. And but with back home, if we go back home, you know, I take a few of the functions they have here. They don't have as many back home, and that's new to me as well. Like, being able to speak up here and stuff, meet new people. Probably take that from it, but when you play like A grade back home, it's really fun on as well. It's like similar to AFL, but yeah, the local scene's maybe a small more passionate.
Well, mate, we wish you the best of luck today. Give a round of applause down the front, and welcome to that club. Right, folks, we're just going to have a very short break. And then I'm going to get Chris up here, and we're going to ask Chris a couple of questions and do all that. Now, also on your tables, we're going to put some paper down, and if you've got any questions for Chris Tarrent, we're going to do that after the game. And if your questions get picked out today, you win yourself a Crown Lager. So we'll have a 5-minute break. If you need to go to the toilet or whatever, and we'll be coming back with Chris Tarrent. Okay, thank you. To you're tall boy, but not as big as Zach, but you're there out there, mate. Chris, just your background, you're born in Mildura in 1996. You moved to Bendigo and you got involved in the AFL scholarship. What are your memories of those days?
Oh, as a country boy, I guess I grew up in Numurkah, which is on the other side of Shepparton. So it's on a dairy farm. So I lived there until I was about 10. Moved to Mildura on a fruit block. Just the family just kept following them around, obviously. Then went to Bendigo on a scholarship, AFL scholarship as a 16-year-old, and went there with Dean Solomon, who ended up at Essendon, and Mark Elvey, who ended up at the Western Bulldogs at the time. So the three of us travelled to Bendigo and played for the Bendigo Pioneers under 18s and got drafted out of there. So we had a great time, obviously, just young kids from the country. So we certainly enjoyed our time going through there.
Now, you were drafted from Bendigo to Collingwood, and as a 8th pick in 1997 in the national draft, that would have been a big buzz to go to an AFL club, especially like Collingwood.
Yeah, it was. Look, I didn't watch a whole lot of football when I was growing up. Being from the country, we only got 2 games a week. And there was the Friday night game, I think, the Saturday game, I think. So unless that team wasn't playing, you only used to get a few teams you used to watch a week, and then I was quite into my sport, so I didn't actually know how big Collingwood actually was. I knew it was obviously the bigger club, but I didn't actually realise until I got down there for the first time and started playing the games, and realised the passion of the supporters and the how much. So it was good because actually when I first moved to Melbourne, I lived in Collingwood, right across Victoria Park. I was only 17, so I didn't have a licence, and so they put me across the road in Easy Street, Collingwood. And so that was great because I sort of got a real good understanding on the culture of Collingwood and the passion of the club and just around the place. And so it was a good sort of understanding going into Melbourne lifestyle, I suppose, being a country boy. And thoroughly. It took me a while to adjust to it, obviously. But as a club, I mean, I couldn't ask for any more getting drafted to a better club than Collingwood. So it's it was fantastic.
Now, being a young lad and playing for Collingwood, really, I know that when I've been involved with Auskick and taking the kids out at half time at the MCG, and you can hear just even the people just shuffling in the background. Now, what was it like for your first game at the G, or the first big game of Collingwood? Can we make sure we turn our mobile phones on silent, please? So what was your sort of experience getting out in your first game, and what was it like?
Yeah, first game was against the Bulldogs, Optus Oval, I think it was, which is quite strange, because obviously Collingwood Bulldogs playing at Optus Oval. Who did I play on? I think I played on Danny Southern, I think. As you remember Danny Southern. So I reckon he elbowed me about 100 times that game, told me he was going to kill me. And I was only young, I was 17 years old, quite skinny. And quite shy at the time as well, so I was shooting myself and ended up kicking a goal that day. And certainly, I remember it quite clearly because it was a while ago now, 1997. But you always remember your first one, and it was a great memory. And I sort of knew after playing that game that I'd love to sort of keep on playing. But when you used to play back in 97, 98, 99, you used to. Basically, you could sit on the bench for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, and you might only come on for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and that's the way it was. If you started on the bench, you were generally on the bench for a while. I know Brad Fuller just walked in here, he's played at Collingwood for a few years, and I remember sitting on the bench with him for about, I reckon, the whole game, so we got to know each other pretty well over a couple of weeks there, because we basically never got on. And so it was different times where now if you're on the bench, you'll be on for maybe a minute, 2 minutes maximum. And then players are coming in, rotating off, and so it's a totally different game now, and it's obviously changed in that part for the better.
Now, when you played in Collingwood in that first couple of years, who were the players that have been there for a while that you probably looked up at as a kid, maybe, and finally all of a sudden you're playing against these, or playing with these blokes? It must have been an amazing experience, like it's going to be for some of these boys in Hillside. They've gone to games and seen Collingwood play, and seeing you out there now, they've got that experience. How was that experience for you when you went to Collingwood?
Oh, amazing. I was quite lucky because I was coming into, I started at a time where all the great Collingwood players were still playing, so I had the opportunity to play with Gavin Brown, Damien Monkhurst, Nathan Buckley, obviously, Paul Williams, Gavin Francisco, all the greats from that 1990 Premiership side. And obviously, it's a great thrill as a young kids to be running around Premiership players, but also guys that were fantastic to help your development as well. It was a really good bunch of guys, and to enter that AFL environment with some superstar players was certainly a humbling experience, and something. I got the opportunity to carry Gavin Brown off after his final game, which is I've got a big photo of it up on the wall. It's quite special.
Actually, you'd have to say who actually took you under your wing. I mean, if it was Willow, you would have been in trouble. I mean, with the tunnel days still around in them days, the tunnel. How did you go to avoid currently the country and coming down to Melbourne? And because I know what their blokes used to be like when they used to come to the Star Bar, used to send all their wives down there, especially Bucks. We used to give them the key to the pool table, and hopefully be around our pool table right through at the Star Bar with all the boys, Willow. And also riding used to come down. How did you go, and who took you under your wing and sort of led you on the golden path, hopefully?
It's safe to say I did enjoy the bright lights in Melbourne when I first arrived. I was attracted to it straight away. I found myself enjoying the drink cards at the tunnel and drink cards at Star Bar, and I thought this life's fantastic. Go out on the weekend, play a game of football, go to a nightclub afterwards, get my drink card and get hammered. And roll into training the next day, and we'd all sit around the spa, and this is what it was like, 97, 98, 99, you'd all sit around the spa and tell your stories from the night before, and if someone dragged one, it'd be fantastic, and hear that story too. And that's just what it was when I was back there. It was, you played hard on the field, and then you played hard off it, but then sort of all through that transition period of, because guys were still working when I first got down there as well, so guys were either a plumber or still doing some building stuff as well. So in the early 2000s, became very professional, guys were full-time football, and that's when it probably took me a while to adapt to still playing like it was in the late 90s into the early 2000s, and that's probably where I struggled a little bit, and it took me time a while to get over that a little bit, but I eventually did.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like 268 senior games, few players reached 200, mate, and as we all know, what we're seeing in sport now with their seeing of the drugs and all that, and what they're checking out, and all, you must have had a lot of temptations in your life as you were growing up as a footballer, especially in AFL. I mean, I know that I worked in a lot of nightclubs that used to get you blokes in and give you drink cards, and now it's totally changed out there. You have to be home by a certain time. How did you go from partying all the time and enjoying that? You don't have anyone looking over your back shoulder, or even other blokes want to have a go at you, as we always know that happens out in the bars or nightclubs and things. How did you sort of transform from that era to what it is now?
Oh, look, it does. I always, even as a kid, I enjoyed having a beer with my mates, and that's just the way we grew up. We'd generally play a game of footy, we'd hang around with each other afterwards, and we'd have a few beers together afterwards, and that was sort of my culture going even through 16s, 18s, whatever. It was a way you got together, and you enjoyed being a kid, I suppose. So it took me a while, to adjust, but it just comes with maturity as well. You're definitely not thinking the same when you're 27, 28, when you're single and you're 20, 21 years old. I'm telling you, everyone knows. You sort of mature as you get older, and the footy clubs have changed so much. As when we first arrived, they just didn't really show you how to deal with the media or deal with that sort of stuff. But now there's full-time guys that are looking after guys, make sure they're working or studying something, make sure they're on the right path in all different areas. So football clubs are doing a fantastic job in that area, I think, to help young guys coming through the system now.
Talking about media, because being a young lad playing for Collingwood, when you started showing a little bit of action on the field, taking some of those great speckies that we see here, and then all of a sudden, you've got the media, you've got the media out the front door, or anything you sort of played up on the weekend. I mean, how did you face all that sort of, especially with Eddie Maguire, the way he likes to run the ship, pretty tight, and wants to know what's going on. That must have been a little bit hard to get used to, especially having that media attention hanging over you all the time.
Yeah, look, I'm probably looking back now, I probably didn't handle it as well as I could have and should have, and probably wasn't guided down the right path in that area, but I sort of probably shied away from it also. Guys like getting up, standing up and talking. It doesn't come naturally to me, but so I sort of shied away from it a bit, and I think at the end that sort of harmed me more than anything, because It's easy for the media if you play a shit game. They don't know you, just to pot you. As you know, the guys that are quite close to the media will never get bad words said about them. That's the way it is. Like if they can play a few bad games, guys, they're always backing them up because they know them. But when, especially when you're playing for Collingwood, you're playing up forward, and you have a quiet game or a couple of quiet games. You can imagine the pressure that builds up, and the media certainly jump on that side of things as well. So I didn't handle it too well. I should have just put myself out there a little bit more. I'm sure that would have helped me a fair bit.
Okay, I don't want to hold you up too much because we're just looking at the clock and we want to get you in there and get ready for the big day. Just a couple of questions before we finish up. Of course, Chris is going to be here after the game. We're going to, of course, we've got some notes that you can write down, and the one who gets picked for their question to ask, Chris will win a crown logo. Is that right? Crown logo? Yep. So, in your footy time, and now you finished up at Collingwood, what would you say would be your best memorable game of playing footy for Collingwood?
Oh, look, I was quite fortunate, so I played in a successful 02-03, even though we lost the grand finals. But those prelim finals, one against Adelaide in 02 and then the prelim final in 03, they're the best games you can possibly play. Even the grand finals, the noise that happens on the prelim final day, because you've got 60 or 70,000 Collingwood supporters and the other side as well. So you literally could not hear, 10 metres yelling out to a teammate in the last sort of quarter and stuff like that. It was an amazing feeling. Personally, the game in 03 against Adelaide, kicked a goal after the siren to win the game, and that's, as you're growing up, it's a boyhood dream, I suppose. So that was early on in the season. I think we started off with 2-2 and sort of needed the win. I was over in Amy Stadium, and I think Bucks might have got on the wing, sort of punched it forward and sort of got in front of a man, and sort of went back. The siren sort of sounded, and sort of as my kicking was never exactly straight, so it sort of wobbled through a little bit and went through, and it was certainly a fantastic feeling, to be able to do that at AFL level.
Well, I'm going to hold you up. I said you've got to get in there, but 32 years of age, is that correct? And married, in good health. You look pretty good, you look great with Sharks top. Love to get you back. What does the future hold for Chris Tarrent?
Good question. I'm heading overseas for a couple of months. Something I've always wanted to do after I finished playing was have some summer months overseas. I love travelling, I love everything about it, love experiencing different cultures and things like that. So heading to Europe for the summer, which has always been a dream of mine. So that's certainly put that in and leave at the end of the month for a couple of months. So that's always been a dream of mine. So I'm sort of quite fortunate to be in that position to be able to do that. So that's for the short term, and see what happens after that.
Well, Chris, on behalf of us all here today, we really appreciate you coming along and supporting our club, because we have been through the bottom part, and now we're actually building up, and having people like you come to our club and represent our club. It's a big lift for us, and also for our supporters and players, our junior players out there. We really thank you very much for coming along, and we're looking forward to having a chat with you after the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, go get ready for the game. Put your hands together for Chris. It was good to have a log playing footy, because as a kid growing up, there's a lot of copping heaps in the old days. But without further ado, let me welcome a good friend of mine too, Peter Dacos. Just as I don't think we get a lot of time to sort of ask some questions and things. I know you're involved a lot in the media and whatever. But Peter, just explain when you started football, before you got to Collingwood, where you were at, how you got there, and take it from there.
Good on you. Look, it is great to be. I'm not really sure about the X Club. It doesn't. The X Club. What is the X Club anyway? So before the time, all right. Look, and I do over my travels do get to meet a few people, and a few stories are told. But look, as Al said, look, naturally what brings me here is having had that career with the Collingwood Football Club. And first, let me say, I have to apologise. I actually did some coaching today, and this all came about last minute, so, you know, I had to rush from the other side of town, but more importantly, my team won today. We got smashed last week, and the kids won, which is great, because they didn't win the game last year, so we got 1 out of 2, which is great, and the team actually beat by 3 goals, so they lose by 10 goals last year, so I'm pretty happy about the turnaround. So that is footy, but no doubt what brings me here is Collingwood. And we're going back, just to bore you for a quick sec, we're going back, that ended for me 20 years ago this year. So I've actually been out of the game 20 years. I got to Collingwood 77 as a 15-year-old. I played with the under-19s. Then 78, slipped in the reserves, and then 79 I made my debut out at Vic Park. But I just, really quickly, I'll tell you what I do these days. You know, I'm a dad, happily married, and I am happily married. I've got a daughter at home, 20, and it's interesting, Chris Tarrent, she used to love Chaz, and when he got married, I lost her for quite a while. Heartbroken she was, but I have 2 boys at home. I only own up to one, because one's a Carlton supporter. The 2 boys playing footy, so no doubt I get involved in the local scene. Just on that, I actually did the local footy club I played. I actually did 3 years junior footy without a kid playing, just to help out, which was fantastic. I did it initially at the start, enjoyed it so much, away we went, but I've done the full circle, and just to tell you where I sit these days, I'm trying to be quick, and I'm mindful of the game is starting at 2:15, so I'm going to sort of try and race through this. Through my career, quite honestly, I played at Collingwood 17, and when it was over, said and done, as they say, it really did seem like five minutes of my life. It went so quick. While I was doing it, I thought it'd last forever. You know, the regular old thing. It ends, and now 20 years after the event, I can only remember 5 instances through that career. It's interesting. People come and go, "Oh, do you remember at Waverley in '84 this happened?" I got no idea, and that's quite honest, because these things never get regurgitated all the time. But I remember my first game. I remember the grand finals I played in. I remember the mid-'80s, because I missed 3 years, only played 20 games and got back in '88. I remember that period because, you know, I was on the retired list. They were going to sell me to North Melbourne. God help us. 1990 is the other one, the 4th one. I remember winning the grand final, and that's why I talk about, you know, football successes is what it's all about, because at the end of the day, that's what hangs around the walls in most sporting clubs and even businesses. Read the successes of a group of people or a team of people. And so I remember 1990, because it doesn't matter where I go these days. You know, the other week I'm in Coles, I just want to get in, get my groceries, get out. Checkout lady recognises me, tells me how it saved her marriage, never seen her husband say nothing. And I reckon you can relate to what I'm saying. So it's constantly regurgitated. 23 years after the event, it does seem like about 6 years. So that's why I can remember more so that, because it meant so much to people. And then the last one, I remember being told my career was over. So I remember the start, getting a game, and then I remember the end. And quite honestly, when it all started for me, I went to Collingwood. I didn't think it was going to amount to much. Young Preston boy, or it was known as Moccasonville back then. Young Preston boy gets invited. I actually knocked Collingwood back. Didn't think I'd make the grade. Didn't want to make a fool of myself. Another young guy got invited down, and I thought, well, if I make a bit of a deal of myself, so happy. And quite honestly, I went down there, and we were just hatching a plan to knock off a few Collingwood jumpers. I didn't think the career amounted to much, but then all of a sudden you get the natural sort of roll of the body growing physically, and then naturally, mentally, with all the training they start putting into you. And before I knew it, I was playing seconds football 78, and then it rolls into 79, my first senior game. I want to tell you really quickly where I sit these days with the kids. It's great. And kids have moved on. When I was a kid growing up, you got one replay Saturday night for all the sport, and that was it. The kids got 24/7, they got Fox. My kids will take the game and they'll watch it 5 times, so they just go over and again. And you move that line, monkey see, monkey do. You know, people see my kids and they're good both sides of the body, keep their feet, do all that gesture and give themselves time. And they go, geez, you've done a good job. And I go, hey, I just manage the process. The best teacher these days is no doubt television, but I'll tell you a quick story. When I was doing the under-12s with my eldest son, Josh, he's under 15s now, but a couple of years ago, under 13s, I'm under 12s it was, so 3 years ago. I'm doing the kids, and I'm probably known more these days, and these kids are all pretty good, both sides of the body, right across the board. Some of them got some fantastic skills. And I remember when I was coaching the kids, I grabbed this one of the young boys, he was actually captain of our team. He was only so high, but he was a beauty. You know, could play in the forward line, kick you a goal, put him in the centre, and he'd win the football many times. Back line, run it out. You put him in the full back, he'd kick out and mark his own bloody ball. He was so good. But the point, as a coach, what you're always trying to do is ironing out a few of the chinks. Now, and this is coming from me, mind you, one night I grabbed him because he had this habit of taking the ball and taking the field on, running out to the boundary, and instead of doing the team thing, centering it, kicking, he was trying to kick these little bounces along the goal line to kick a goal. And this was me talking, mind you, so I grabbed him and I said to him, listen, Riles, I said, you're the captain of the team, we've got a team rule, you really need to get this ball in the middle, do the team thing. This is coming from me, mind you. Who never ever thought in his life to centre the ball. Half the time I wanted to centre it, but you know who was at the top of the square waiting? Jimmy Manson. If you ever seen Jimmy Manson, that probably gave me the free licence. So I grabbed him this night and I said, Riles, do me a favour. You're the captain, we've got the team rules. Stop taking the field on. I don't mind you doing that, but the last thing, you know what, if you get to the boundary or you're hemmed in, you've got to put it in the middle. And he looked at me and he said, but you tell me that every time we do the practice, we do extra work to back ourselves in. And I said to him, don't worry about what I say, I'll coach, I can trust you. Just get it in the middle. I said, look, while we're here, just show me. So he kicks this thing along the ground, and he's probably about 15, 20 out, and the thing rolls past the goal, so he didn't get it. I said, see, mate? I said, no pressure out here, game situation, high stakes as well, get the ball in the middle. That week, this is under 12 footy, mind you, I'm actually co-coach with Riley's dad. We're playing Ashburton, the game starts, this is under 12 footy, high stakes, because we're both undefeated, so we're trying to get top position there. The game starts, we're about 6 minutes in, they kick 3 goals, we hadn't scored, let alone kick a goal. I'm looking at John, you know, what do we do? Anyway, Riley grabs the ball, darts in and out, he couldn't have scripted it better, goes out to the boundary, we just practiced this week, goes out to the boundary, he's about 15 out, and he kicks this thing along the ground, so he goes to goal, so he didn't do the team thing, and it's bouncing, going towards a goal. I'm looking at this thing going, miss, 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 because I want to hammer home the message. And the thing looked like it was going to miss, started to slow down, right angles, rolls in for a goal, and he turns around to me and he goes, so what do you do as a coach? You leave him out there. So, the other thing is with me, just where I'm at, really quickly before I jump into the Collingwood things, the kids, you know, they've got a way of putting you on a high and at the same time bring you back to it pretty quickly. And look, let's face it, I am old news. A long time ago, and last year I'm walking the kids up. This will give you an idea of where I sit with a few of the kids. Saw a few of the oldies that probably, you know, went to the football during my era and that to watch. But I'm sort of an eastern suburbs bloke. I'm in North Bourne, so we're on a couple of blocks from school. So when I can, I pick up the kids. I picked up young Nick this day, and I'm walking home 2 blocks from home, and I'm sort of, you know, the regular thing, you know, how'd you go today, kiss any girls, all that sort of thing, you know, get your work all done. And as we're heading to the corner, there were these 3 young kids, 8, 9 years of age, and one of the kids looks at me, spots me, and starts going, oh, legend, oh, Collingwood, oh, you know, grand final, you know. And the kid was saying, well, there's 2 kids that were with him, you could see, had no idea who I was. They're looking at me going, who's that, Collingwood? You know, did he play at Collingwood? Who is it, you know? And the kid that was saying all this turns back to me and goes, what's your name again, mate? I had no idea who I was, so it was halfway there. So really quickly, look, so as you go through your career, I mean, I played a few games, and quite honestly, as a kid, 1 game would have been enough. I played 250. But I will tell you, people always ask me about how big Collingwood is, and I always have 2 stories that I tell, just to give you a bit of a snapshot. And they were also a bit of a, it gave me an idea of just how big this whole Collingwood thing was, the Collingwood picture. And you know supporters of let's say Collingwood in this case, they are fanatical and there's a lot of them. But I remember as a kid coming through, people always say to me, oh, you know, how big is the club? Well, in 1988, really quickly, I get reported. Now, it didn't take a lot for Collingwood to end up in the newspapers or any little excuse to put Collingwood in the newspapers. I get reported, we're playing at the MCG, I get reported against the Brisbane Bears, which are naturally the Brisbane Lions today. And the umpire that reported me was Peter Cameron. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Camo is the brother-in-law, still is, I think so, of Julie Cloak, Travis Cloak's mum. So naturally David used to get an armchair, right when Camo was there, he'd come in the room pretending he's doing the neutral thing, yeah, go on boys, play the ball, and then the other umpire would be facing the other way and he'd go, don't worry guys, I'll look after your day. Now, he did look after us, me and Collingwood, but more importantly Cloakey, really quickly on that, Cloakey used to get everything, also used to get all the Brownlow votes, and it was interesting, in one game he didn't play, he still polled the Brownlow votes. So, just on that, I get reported, abusive language, I go to the tribunal, this is true, first player for 45 years, you know, so it's Collingwood, it's me, first player for 45 years, and I'm going to get a fine. So I'm going out to the tribunal, you know, I'm not going to get suspended, Alan McAllister's with me, and Big Al had already teed up to get my fine, whatever it was going to be, it was going to be paid by the coterie group, which was the Woodsman. So we're going out there, Al saying, don't worry, it's going to be covered. So let's get out there, do it, and then we just want you to focus on the game. So I go out there, I get a $2,000 fine. The Sun newspaper, which is today the Herald Sun, come out there and they thought they'd do a bit of a story. It's Collingwood, and what they did was they set up this huge cardboard box, looked like a money box with a big sling in it, and they put this white butcher's paper on there and it said, "Health Dakes pays fine." And they got a few blokes around with dollar coins, ready to slip it in there. It took this photo. Now that goes into the Sun newspaper the Wednesday morning. I got this fine of $2,000 and I had on there, and supporters took it literally because it said Health Dakes pays fine. So all these donations start coming into the club. I paid the fine of $2,000, made a profit of $4,500. And that gives you an idea of just how big the Collingwood side of thing was. The other one I'm going to say really quickly, and I don't want to be too serious with this chat, is in 1981. And this probably goes into two stories. We were playing Carlton out at Princes Park, and back then you didn't have the seats in the air, and you know it was jam-packed. Both teams undefeated, round day. I don't know if anyone remembers the game, and we smashed them by 10 goals. And it was a closed shop. 11 o'clock, closed gates. They were in trees. They were on the Robert Heatley stand, and they pulled fences down to get in. It was 35,000. If you remember, once they put seats in Princes Park, it was like capacity of 25. So they were jam-packed. We played this game and beat them by 10 goals. I'm a young kid, 20 years of age, come from Preston, and quite honestly, having to pinch myself because, you know, here am I playing senior footy with the Collingwood Football Club. I moved to my third year, but second, you know, regular, you know, I've become a regular. So we're on top of the ladder, and quite honestly, you know, I did have to pinch myself. And I was a young Preston boy, and I always used to catch up with my mates after the game. So I remember this night after we won, I go head back to Preston, and I went back. Alan, you missed this night spot, which was pretty popular in Preston, which was Kramer's, which was Richie's night spot. I remember a few of the girls there. But no, this is true. I go back, and being the big fish in a little pond, you know, I knew a lot of people anyway. But on top of that, you know, he's a league player and plays at Collingwood, so you are treated like a king. So I remember going in, they gave me a drink card, got all my mates in, and had a great night. I remember being in the corner this night, and blokes buying me drinks. I didn't have to put my hand in my pocket, not that I ever did, but I had my pocket, and you know, sort of lobbing them down. And I'm going, how good life was. I'm saying to myself, how good is this? I'm bloody senior footy, playing with Collingwood, we're on top of the ladder, and I know I'm going to get a game next week because I got a kick, so life's great. At the end of the night, I end up just on top, because it didn't take a lot to sort of, for people who want to chat, I end up meeting this absolute glamour of a young girl. Now, I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but, you know, and I'll get into that a little bit more, but she's 21, I'm a young kid, you know. By the end of the night, it's now just after 1, the venue's closed. And she invites me back to her place, which is Mill Park, which is just like 3 k's up the road, which in those days when I was only getting $75 a game, I always tried to meet someone within 4 k's, you know. It just made a lot easier. It wasn't a lot of money, you know, just under $2 grand a year. So I remember going, yeah, whatever reason, I'm thinking she lives on her own. So we drive out to Mill Park. Now, again, I'm not this is where I was going with this sharpest tool in the shed, but it didn't take long to work out I was in a little bit of trouble. I get to her front door. She's a nice Italian girl. I get to the front door, there's all these shoes, and there was one pair that caught my eye, which were the boots with cement all over them. So I said to her, you didn't tell me you lived at home, and I'm not coming in there, your dad will come in. She said, no, it's all right, heavy sleeper, please, Pete, just come in, we'll just have a coffee, you know, just have a coffee, go home. And I said to myself, all right, she said, look, it'll be all right. All I can remember is we took our shoes off, and she's leading me down the hallway, pitch black. And as I'm walking, the floors are creaking, and I'm stopping, just waiting Dad to come out and give me a bit of big salami or something. Anyway, she gets me into her room, and I thought, shit, this is a funny place for the kill. But anyway, it didn't bother me. I sit down. She walks down. I go, where are you going? She left the light in. She goes, oh, take a sec, just relax, make yourself comfortable. So I'm relaxing. She goes off. I reckon 2 minutes later, I hear this boom, boom, boom running down. Now, this is a Saturday night after this Carlton game, so I'm sitting there shit myself thinking, shit, she's got awfully heavy on her feet. Oh, I think I'm in trouble here. The door opens, the light comes on. There she is with her dad. She went and woke him up because they're mad Colin. She goes, see, Dad, I told you, Daisy's here. His eyes lit up. And seriously, I was laying in bed. I looked like I pitched a tent for the night. That's because I had my knees up. But anyway. He comes over to me, he's going, oh, Dave, so love you. And he's hugging me and going, what did we say? We killed those bastards. You know, I love giving to the Blues. Anyway, he got me up, we sat in his kitchen, we drank the CUB, Benny, which would make you happy. So we had a few green labels, and he's ringing his Carlton mates, we're stirring them, he's ringing his Collingwood mates, and we're singing the theme song. I actually went out with that girl 5 years. I didn't think much of her, but I loved him. He was my best mate. And that'll give you an idea of the twists and turns, but just how fanatical people are. I just want to, just one more, and again, I'm mindful, and then I'll sort of just will answer a couple of questions really quickly. You know, grand finals and teams is what it's all about, and I did say, really it's those team successes, and I know even for non-Collingwood people, you know, Collingwood people know where they were in 1990 when we won it and what you got up to, and you know, sort of what went on, and quite honestly, with that, as I said, it just constantly goes on, and it's really the only thing I can remember honestly about my career. I can remember playing my first game as if it was yesterday. I can remember being told my career was over, and I can remember that grand final. I remember the injuries, and I remember playing in grand finals. I played in 5 by the time I was 20, mix of night games, under 19 grand final, reversed, and a couple of days, lost them all. It wasn't another 9 years until I got the opportunity again, and we took it home. And I will say really quickly, that grand final, people always bring up the fight, and like Matthew said, well, they say with the fight, you know, where were you? Well, that was stupid. I wasn't a fighter. I was off having an extra cordial while they were punching and living suitcase out of each other. But the thing that helped us in that grand final was going back a few weeks when we drew with West Coast, because it meant Essendon were inactive for 21 days. Essendon had beaten us twice in preliminary rounds. We played in the second semi, we smashed them by 10. We're going into a grand final. We're mentally pumped and attuned and ready to play a game of football. That fight starts, Gavin Brown goes down, and I remember when we were in the huddle, we didn't know who had gone down. I remember I was looking across, and all we could see were trainers huddled around, you know, this slumped body on the ground with Gavin Brown. We worked out pretty quickly. I'm thinking, great, big player, great player, kicked about 60 goals that year. I played alongside him. I'm thinking, anyone bar Rowdy. Anyway, I'm turning around, I'm looking at the trainers and pick him up, and he's like a rag doll, and I'm thinking, he's out of it. And we sort of back around, we're trying to focus, we're talking. I then hear, you know, I turn around and the trainers are actually holding him up and they're sort of bringing him across the ground. He's about 70 metres away. Turn back around. Then I hear the crowd clapping. I turn back and there he is, the trainer sitting off him, and he's marching to the beat. I'm thinking, oh, beauty, you know, the hairs on the back of my neck are up. And I'm thinking, he's right, he's okay, you know, he's cleared his head. So I kept turning around as he got closer and closer and closer, and he got to about 2-3 metres. And I remember, as you do as a player, I went over to him, I'm vice captain, so I'm going, Rao, good boy, you know, you're right. He looks at me and goes, oh, Mum, what are you doing there? The fella went over, he was, just Darren hit him. He punched him up with 6 inches, and he was, I reckon, the trainers on that side of the ground said he was out before he hit the ground. So, as you know, he went off, came back 2-40, kicked the goal. He was a great player, a great player for us. So I really feel sad about that. People say what Matthew say. Really simple. You know, terminologies in footy will change, but the objectives will never change. The aims of the game will never ever change. You know, loose man these days is called +1, and 2 loose men is +2. It's just a terminology. So the object of the game will never change. And he was really basic. I think people expected him to come up with some Einstein sort of, some formula, mass formula. It was just, instead of taking our eye off the ball, let's keep our eye on the ball, get your head over the ball, the umpires will take control. And he was so right. There were probably 4 instances in that second quarter at different times. We were in non-threatening, non-scoring position, a couple of times on a wing, a couple of times on, you know, the flank, hugging boundaries. All we could do was get it in the air. And Essendon went the man up. We kicked it. They hammered us. We got 2 relay free kicks to the goal square, 2 from their 15. We got another couple of goals with 6 goals at half time. Party's over. I've never bought a drink again for the last 23 years. So I will say, it's been a great ride. And I will say, I played for a great brand, a great club. And it is a great band. People say to me, you know, do you miss footy? I don't give them 2 days go by that I don't miss the game. I love it. Today, they're involved, and I said to someone, you know, it's just fantastic. It's unconditional with the kids. I love all that development side of things, but it's something that will never leave me. And quite honestly, when they ask me, do you miss it? I don't reckon 2 days go by that I don't. And, you know, it was such a huge part of my life, and I will say, not until they put me away and the eyes are closed will I stop thinking about the game. So I thank you very much for being patient, listening in, and you know, to the football club, all the very best to Scotty and the boys, and Stevie Collins. It was a big game today, and thanks so much for having me in.
Big step from Kramers to the tunnel, please. Big step. Actually, I'm going to get you to sign this ball if you could, Pete. And what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to actually auction this footy off. It's got Chris Tarrent on there. Who else have we got, Benny? Zach, Hargraves, all up there. Steve, everyone was up on the stage today. So we're going to auction that off. Does anyone want to open up a bid on that? $50, anyone? 50 I have. Take 70 anywhere. 70 I have. Or take 80 I have. $100 I have. 120 anywhere. $100. Are we all done on 100? I know the footy,
The footy's 150 alone.
120 here. At 120 we'll take 130 anywhere. 130 I have. 130 going for 140 anywhere. At 130 going once, twice. At 140 now. At 140 I have. I'll take 150 to save and take in the division. And the money's going to the footy club, mate. Alright, footy club. 140 I have at $140, so I have 150 anywhere. At 140 now. Are we all done at $140? 150 now. At 150, 160 will buy it. At 150, are we all done at $150? Going 160 I have. At 160 now. I'll take 170 if we can. At 160 I have. At 160 going once, twice. Are we all done at 160? 165, oh come on, Phil. 170 I have, and $170 I have. At 170 we have, and we'll take 180. At $170, are we all done at 170 going to the Hillside Footy Club, going once, twice. Are we all done at $170? Sold. Thank you very much. 175, thank you very much. We'll take that as well. Thank you. Well done, mate.
It's going to the footy club, really important. Okay, it all goes to the footy club. The footy alone is worth $150. I reckon my signature's worth $10. But you've got Chrissy Tarrent, you've got Ryan Hargraves, and you've got a couple of the other boys. So, and I'm happy to, we're happy to, I don't know if this attracts anyone, we'll get a photo and I can even personalise it. So, come on, let's go in the football club. We're at 175. Do I hear 185? 200, perfect. All right, $200. We've got $200. All going to the footy club. Do I hear 220? Going once. Can I get another bid? $200 going twice. 220 over the back. Okay, 220. 250. All right, $250 going once this way, Stunell. $250 going once. That's it now. Just lost the job. We call that Douglas Entertainment. We've got $250 going once. $250 going twice. Sold for $250. Fantastic. All right, we got another one. Chrissy Tarrant. Okay, that's yours. We'll work that out. All right. Retails for $400 now. Now this guy took some big marks. I remember the one at the MCG. That was an absolute beauty. They didn't probably, if you had sat back on that, he was well off the ground. You look where his knee's not even on the shoulder. So it's actually his shin on Mark Richardson, who's 6'3" thereabouts. So we've got two great marks. So we're going to go with this one against Geelong. He was a great player for Collingwood. Stints at Freo and back at Pies, and now, more importantly, today at Hillside. So, can I get a bid for $200 to start it off? $200, Chris Tarrant. It's a nice piece. Take the wedding photo down, and Chris Tarrant goes up. Perfect. Might have a mate that might be interested. $200 for the Chris Tarrant print. Come on, can we get a bid then? $150. Is that all right or not? No. We need $200. You happy with $200? All right, $200. We've got $200 to start it off. May even end up winning it. So will that get $200? All right, so we're away. Next bid could get it. So $200. Chris Tarrant. Mark against the Cats. Going once. Going twice. Sold. $200. All right, we got one more.
Everyone's back.
All right, we're going to do mine. I'm going to start it at $500.
Where's Ange
All
gone?
right, there is reserves on here, and what you've got to remember is that there's reserves on it so that the football club makes money. So, so you've got Collingwood, I hope we don't break anything here, but Collingwood jumper, you've got the great late, unfortunately late, Darren Mullane, my skipper Tony Shaw, Lee Matthews, you've got the toothless wonder down here, which is me. And there's a Collingwood jumper sign. So again, beautifully framed, beautifully presented. Not a lot of pieces like this. I know member of the league can be flogged a bit and walked a bit, but I haven't seen too many like this. So can we start it off? Is it $620? That's the reserve. And if you're happy to pay for it, it's yours. And hopefully we get a bit of an option out of it. Credit card, we'll take credit card, IOUs, you can leave your wife as collateral. That's all right. All right, so $620. Is there any interest? Any interest in the room? It's all naturally the club's profits built into that. $620. Anyone interested? No? No interest? No interest? All right, if you're interested, come back after and talk to Al, so talk about it. So, anything else? We've got a Swans grand final, we've got a replica little premiership cup, and it's on side. We've got $250 as a reserve. So, time. So anyone interested in that? Any South Wales supporters or Sydney supporters? $250, the framing alone, that's what it's worth. So, again, anything that comes up, you may be interested in, you can speak to Al. And Al, anything else? No, all right. All right, well, I don't think we've got too much. I actually got a little one here. Please, don't embarrass me. I know it's sort of like pulling teeth, but how much do you want for that? 200? Is it $200? All right. Offer it 200 and I'll give you a kiss too. No, so any interest? interest? Yeah, $200? All right, we've got $200 just here. I see $225. And you get a photo. I'm happy to do a photo. So $220. Anyone else interested? Going once? Going twice? Sold for $200. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, legend, big hands here for Peter Taco. Stick around.
Just left I've got a black X5 out there, so if anyone wants to get out, let me know. But I'm not saying at the end of the game, but just in case. So again to everyone, thanks so much. Thanks for supporting the club and naturally all the very best of football.